You're watching How to Cake It. I'm Yolanda, and it's Chocolate Eclair Day this week, so of course I had to cake a giant eclair.
Oh, that's a good one. One more time.
Oh, now I'm dizzy.
A couple.
My hair is heavy.
It's not that heavy anymore. It's shorter. Whoa, yeah.
Don't remind me about my shorter hair. I'm very upset about it.
It looks great, yo.
To make this giant eclair, I baked 1 vanilla cake and 1 chocolate cake. For the vanilla cake, I removed it from its pan and then I just slightly leveled the top so it would be more flat when I flipped it over. Now I'm gonna cut this big rectangle in half lengthwise so that I have 2 long vanilla rectangles of cake. I need to flip both halves over and remove the caramelization from the bottom. Time to carve these 2 long rectangles into 2 halves of an eclair, so the top half and the bottom half. I use a 6-inch round pan held upside down at each end to round them out.
It's like a hot dog bun. Like,
a classier,
hot dog bun.
Elegant hot dog bun. And then I take my serrated knife and round the cake down all the way around. A fan actually came up with the pun on this tea, and it's available only for a limited time at howtocakeit.com. For the chocolate cake, I removed it from its pan, leveled it, and then this time I cut it in half widthwise. Cut the 2 halves of my chocolate cake to the desired width, and then I sort of butt them up against each other lengthwise. So now they're as long as my hot dog bun. This cake will become the center, sort of the chocolate cream in my eclair. I also need to round out the ends of this long chocolate rectangle. This time I used a 5-inch round pan held at the ends and a small serrated knife to round them out. You with me? Are you watching me whip? Are you watching me cake? I have caked cake.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. A cake of cakes.
Yeah.
We stuck Drake on the cake of cakes on our Instagram in the hopes that I could make his 30th birthday.
Oh, that's so smart.
And a lot of my wonderful viewers tagged him. He didn't see. Rent done. When you got 40 million followers, I think it's hard to see your comments. Now that I'm happy with all my cakes, Sir Squeeze is here to help me simple syrup them. Once the simple syrup has soaked in, it is time to crumb coat these cakes and get them in the fridge to chill.
Damn!
I did it for all 3 cakes. Let's ice these cakes one more time, nice and smooth, and chill them in the fridge again. For my eclair top and bottom, I have dyed some fondant to look, well, kind of a beige shoe pastry color.
Shoe pastry?
It's not shoe like the shoe on your foot. It's shoe like CHOUX.
What the heck?
Shoe pastry. It's a pastry that you make in a pot, flour and eggs, and you cook it and then you pipe it. I have to again add this to our food coloring collection. Turkey skin, steak base. I feel like we're gonna have the most disgusting line of food colorings.
That no one will buy.
We're just gonna call it ew. I roll out my pastry colored fondant and then I drape it over the cakes, smooth them with a fondant smoother, and trim away the excess at the base with a sharp paring knife. I do this to both halves of my eclair, and once I'm happy, I start to mix some paint to paint them a little bit. I want to paint a layer onto my pastry colored fondant just to give it a little more life. So what color should I use? Oh yeah.
Ivory?
I mixed, oh, look at you. I wish they could see Jocelyn's face. Because she wasn't like, ivory? She was like, ivory? Again? Like, all you ever talk about is ivory. You have a drawer full of food coloring and it's always ivory, ivory, ivory. That was how she said it. That was
Tell me if it was ivory though.
It was ivory. In connection with a little bit of brown and a little bit of white to make it more opaque. Next, once the paint was dry, I actually flipped what will be the bottom half of my eclair over, and I made sure to lay it on just a little piece of parchment paper, because even though the paint is dry, I didn't want to risk it and have it stick to my cake board. Now it's time to place the oh, wait a minute! I forgot to mention mention something about the chocolate cake filling.
Ah!
I slanted it a bit because I wanted the eclair. You know how an eclair usually like the filling is to the front more?
Oh, I see
it's
what
not
you're
just
saying.
like raised.
I see what you're
In order to place my chocolate cake filling on top of the bottom of my eclair, the first thing I need to do is spread a crumb coat of Italian meringue buttercream. Now I carefully lift my chocolate cake using a really long spatula because remember we built this with 2 halves of cake, so we don't want it to fall apart. I carefully lift it up and place it on the center of my bottom eclair cake. Just like an eclair. This was really satisfying actually. So I used a whole lot of Italian meringue buttercream. I placed it in a piping bag with an open star tip. And then what I did is I piped a series of buttercream shells around the whole eclair. Now on the back where the chocolate cake was slanted lower, I only got 1 layer of piped shells, but on the front, I doubled up and did a 2nd layer on top. A good idea would be to chill your cake in between layers just in case it's warm like it was for me. And that way you won't risk ruining your first piped layer because it will be set a little bit. Before I finish this eclair cake, I want to let you guys know that Camp Cake is back!
Woo! One more flip, one more whip.
I don't think, give me a moment.
There we go.
Camp Cake is a full day live stream baking camp with me where I bake in this kitchen and you bake in the comfort of your own kitchen. We do it all together, step by step from beginning to end. These are the dates for Camp Cake this summer. Orhan, drum roll please. July 29th and August 1st. That's right, you can choose whatever date works best for you, and there's more info at howtocakeit.com. Camp Cake officially goes on sale next Tuesday, June 27th. I'd love to know if you guys have joined us before. Leave a comment below using the hashtag CampCakeSquad. It's time to finish this giant eclair. I need to glaze it. I am using modeling chocolate as my glaze. Now I know I've used modeling chocolate on the channel before, but it has always been made with white chocolate. This time I made it with dark chocolate. I roll out the modeling chocolate the same way I would fondant. Then I pick up my modeling chocolate on a French rolling pin. I drape the modeling chocolate over the top of my eclair and begin to smooth it with my hands. Then I trim away the excess and I want it to look, well, like glaze. So I don't want to cut a perfectly straight line. First, I use the tip of my knife to make a slight indent or mark it all the way around in a sort of wavy line. And once I'm happy with the way it looks, I cut right through. The thought of how good it felt to assemble the eclair made me really excited. It made me this excited. It was so satisfying to top the eclair. So all I had to do was pick up this final cake with its chocolate glaze on top, and it was amazing. I was so happy because I got it bang on the first time. There's nothing worse than missing a little and then trying to shift the cake around. It can be done, but it's scary. I'm so excited to decorate this eclair. I decided to first drizzle this chocolate glaze with some pink and lavender candy melts. One thing that's hard about cakes is you can get so far and be happy, but there's always a moment where you can wreck them. It's just the truth. So be confident and drizzle. I further decorated the top of the eclair using a variety of candies and decorations such as candy beads. I used some really brightly yellow colored Jordan almonds. What else did I use? I basically wanted it to look like if it was a real size eclair, I had sprinkled these decorations on. But instead, I placed each one with a little pat of candy melts to glue it to the surface. You guys always want to know what I do with my cakes. This week, I'm saving this one for my mom because it's her birthday this week. Woo! Woo! It's really fitting that I made my mom a cake that looks like another variety of baked good because my mother has this thing that she always buys something from the bakery section.
And?
Even though I'm a baker.
Oh, so this bothers you?
No. It's just that it bothers me a little bit more now because she buys one for my son as well. And I'm like, I think that's betrayal.
Are you gonna have a chat with her about this?
This is my chat. So Mom, if you're watching your iPad, I'm just letting you know how I feel. I'm keeping the lines of communication open through YouTube. Please subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you'll know when I've whipped up another cake. If you like giant food cakes, please check out my giant food cake playlist. And don't forget to check out Yo's recipe box for all of the recipes you'll need to make this cake. And of course, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll be back next Tuesday.